From 1890 to 1920 in America, hair ribbons were a cultural sign of girlhood. Antique portrait photographs demonstrate that girls began wearing ribbons as soon as they had hair long enough to support them. Hair ribbons were fashion and status items for girls. Ribbon was exponentially more expensive per square inch than garment fabrics. Wider ribbon was more expensive. Fashionable hair ribbons grew from 1.5 inches wide in the late 19th century to over 6 inches wide by 1915. The long fashion of expensive hair bows for girls stimulated much ingenuity among American inventors. But few of these gizmos are known to have made it to market. Some inventions made ribbons easier to put on and off, prevented ribbon loss, or preserved the ribbon fabric longer by eliminating the need to tie a bow at all. One commercial success, however, was the Buzzacott ribbon clasp, where the ribbon was folded and clamped under a decorative embossed plate. Another marketing success was one of packaging rather than invention. Mothers had long complained to women's magazines of difficulty finding identically patterned and colored ribbon of different widths so that their daughters' hair and sash ribbons would perfectly match. Dorothy Dainty sold pre-cut, nicely boxed sets of hair ribbons and sashes for girls in every age group. The company advertised in national magazines and appears to have been quite successful while the ribbon fashion endured. As a rule, girls' hairstyles were different from those of adult women. Little girls' hair might be cut into an above-the-shoulder bob. Primary school-aged girls wore long, hanging braids. Girls with naturally curly hair wore their hair in carefully shaped ringlets because curly hair was prized more than straight. In their mid-teens, girls were allowed to wear simple, beribboned up styles. Pre-adolescent girls rarely wore their hair up off the neck, except for a few years after 1908, when coronet braids were fashionable for both little girls and adult women. Today, I will teach you 2 beribboned hairstyles for girls. The first, based on a photograph from 1899, has a pulled-back top with 2 braids and 3 ribbons. The second is a coronet braid technique with 2 ribbons framing the face. The period-appropriate supplies you will need for both styles are a comb and a boar bristle brush and small rubber bands. For the coronet braids, you will also need faux tortoiseshell hairpins. These are easy to find online or in a well-stocked drugstore. Also handy are U-shaped wire hairpins and a small bowl of water. You will need up to 3 yards of ribbon of your desired width, wired or unwired, as you prefer. If you are not sure how much length you need, tie a pleasing test bow directly on the spool before cutting. Then undo your test bow and measure the length needed to duplicate it. You can buy spools of ribbon online or at your local craft store. The wider your ribbon, the longer each section must be for easy tying. Your hair ribbons will range between 12 and 36 inches long, depending on the width of your chosen ribbon. If you make a test bow, you don't need to formally measure once you have cut it off the spool. Use the length of the untied test ribbon as your measuring guide. Brush and comb the hair to remove tangles. Section off a rectangular top panel from the forehead to the crown. Braid the top panel to the occipital bone and bind it with a rubber band at that spot. Tie a ribbon at the crown at the top of the braid. Divide the lower hair in half down the center back. If you accidentally braid too far, just move up the band and unbraid to your desired spot. Split the ends of the braided top hair in half. Divide the left side lower hair into 3 sections and add 1/2 of the braided hair into one of those sections. Braid the left side hair down to the desired bow position, then bind it with a rubber band. Repeat the side braid procedure on the right. Tie ribbons onto the ends of each braid. Now for the coronet braids. Divide the hair in half from forehead to nape. And comb the hair smoothly. Divide the left half into 3 equal sections and tie a bow at the base of the section nearest the center part. Divide the loose hair in half to get 3 equal sections. Braid the hair all the way down as close to the tips as possible. If necessary, dampen the ends with water to make the ends more pliable and bind with a small rubber band. Repeat this on the right-hand side. Pull the ends of each braid up and around the head to the opposite side. Use the faux tortoiseshell pins to secure the braids to the scalp. Tuck the braid ends under or behind the wrapped braids to hide them. Add more pins where necessary to secure the braids to the scalp. Tying the ribbons around one strand of the braids locks the bows into their correct sideways position after the braided hair is wrapped and pinned. The hair ribbon was an important cultural cue because they helped avoid misunderstandings that were, at best, embarrassing and at worst, criminal. Hair bows advertised to adult men that the adolescent girls wearing them were off limits, no matter how physically mature they may appear. Girls were considered women when they married or reached the age of 18, at which time they abandoned their hair ribbons, they lengthened their skirts to graze the floor, and they were free to wear their hair up in the latest fashions.